So this is going to be part 2 of my engine rebuild. What I did was I went on and I put everything back together. But I wanted to point out a few things based off all the different YouTube videos that I watched. Some of the different things that you may have to do, some of the different things that you may not have to do. Maybe save you a little bit of time in the process. There was a couple things that wasn't pointed out properly when I went through the videos the first time around. And I watched probably, I can't count the number of videos that I watched as far as replacing this intake. But first things first, what I want to point out is on a couple of the videos I watched, they removed the shroud, the fan. It's not necessary to do that. If you look at the first video that I shot, the shroud, the fan was still in place. I did have to move the air conditioner here, and there's 4 bolts, one here, one back here, and one there. And once you do that, you don't have to drain the fluid or anything. Just make sure you do not release this bolt right here, and you can pretty much pick this up and move it over to the side. The other thing was I did have to remove this idler pulley right here. I did remove the alternator only because I went on and I did replace both valve cover gaskets. I figured while I had it down, it just made more sense to do it. The other thing is going to be, I did upgrade the intake system. It's dry fitted on there now, so for anyone who wants to comment about it not being tightened or it's missing the bolts down here, it's like that on purpose. The other thing I want to point out, as you can see, I pretty much went through preventive maintenance and replaced everything. I replaced all of the solenoids, pretty much anything that could be replaced. I upgraded the wires to 8mm. I want to give a shout out to Summit Auto Racing and also to Rock Auto, because I ordered all the parts between those 2 suppliers. I did go ahead and replace the distributor cap and rotor. There's a oil pressure gauge or sensor that sits down behind the intake. It's a good idea while it's taken apart to go ahead and replace that as well. The other thing I do want to point out is on all of the videos that I watched for the fuel lines, which I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are fuel lines down here. There's a bolt that holds the bracket to the intake that you can take loose. However, as far as disconnecting the fuel lines themselves, every video that I watched had a special wrench that they put in behind here. It's called a crawfoot wrench. I even watched one video where a guy actually made one, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, this guy has a lot of time on his hands. But you don't need a crawfoot wrench. What I discovered when I was taking the intake out is I started here from the front, removed the air conditioner, loosened up the bracket down there, pulled it out about 1 inch or 2, removed my idler pulley, my fan belt. I went on and tackled the alternator, and then I worked my way around clockwise. When I got to the back, because you do have to remove the distributor, once I got the distributor out the way, you had free range to those 2 nuts on the back of the fuel lines that did not require any type of special wrench. I used a regular 5/8 wrench and took the lines right off and repeated the process when I went to put it back together. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out.